Hello students! Welcome to the very first Sony Vegas Pro 13 tutorial made for the EPS Video Editing Club. In this unit, Unit 0, you will be learning about the interface of Sony Vegas. What you're seeing right now on the screen, this whole thing, is called the interface. Now this unit is divided into two tutorials. In the first one, this one, you'll be learning about the basics of the interface, is what these little square regions do. In the second one, you'll be learning more in detail about the timeline. This part over here is called the timeline. So beginning with this tutorial, you might be wondering where you would get all your material from, your pictures, videos, text, effects, anything you need for the video. Now that stuff has to come from this thing called the Explorer, this part over here. This part, Explorer. This allows you to access everything on your computer, much like how a file explorer on your Windows PC works. So let's look at a folder on our desktop. Now when you view this folder, you by default will see it listed like this, but you can of course change the view to thumbnails. Right. And all you have to do is drag these photos or videos onto this region called the timeline for editing. Yes, we'll be removing that for now. Next, you have project media. Now, this project media area will show you all the files that you put onto your timeline, all the files that you'll be using for a project. So let's say that I add one of these to my timeline. That's a part of my project now. So if you check project media, you will find the same picture. So everything that you put on the timeline is going to be added over here. It makes it easier to access all the files that you are using for your project. Next, we have media generators. Now, say you don't have a picture to begin with. You don't have pictures, you don't have videos, you don't have anything to begin with. You want to create something new out of nothing from your side. So Sony Vegas provides you these things called media generators, which are pretty much patterns, pictures, or even just colors. And you also have texts, which you can just drag onto the timeline. So you have this checkerboard. So you just drag it onto the timeline like how you dragged the picture earlier. When you drag media generators to the timeline, you will see this dialog box opening. We'll get back to this later. So you have checker boxes pattern over here, much like how you had picture. And besides this, you can also add text similarly. So the same dialog box pops up. And here, this is your sample text. So media generators allows you to create a video out of no pictures, no videos. Next section, we have transitions. Now, say you have these different clips. You have a picture, you have another picture, you can even have videos. And right now, there is nothing between these two. It just shifts from one picture to the other picture without anything in between. But you might want to have a transition in between, some sort of effect in between these two. So you just drag it over here and get an effect like that. So we'll get into this later. The next is video effects. Now, video effects is probably the biggest reason why you should be using Sony Vegas to edit videos. Sony Vegas provides you with a lot of effects. All these over here, black and white, black restore, brightness and contrast, these are like the basic things present in pretty much every photo editing software. But what's special about Sony Vegas is that a lot of their effects are also animated, so they move with the video. Like you have film effects, you have old TV, you have a lot of different effects that can enhance the quality of your video. But we'll get back to this in Unit 3. Since we're done with this part of the interface, next you have the trimmer. The trimmer is this region right over here, and you can use this to trim very long videos, like hour-long videos, instead of just putting them directly on the timeline. It makes your editing very simple, but it's not really necessary. If you're using only pictures, if you're not using any long videos, then you don't really need the trimmer, and you can always close it from this cross over here. So we drag this over here, and all the options over here work just like the timeline and the preview. You can play, you can pause, but you can also do a lot of other things. The first thing you can do is add markers. This is how you do it. You have insert marker over here. The reason why you would want to use markers is when you have very long videos like this, and you watch them and you wonder, where should I trim them from? So as you're watching, you mark them. Go here, you mark them, and then maybe you could rewatch it again and decide where you want to actually trim them from. And there's also a keyboard shortcut, which is M. You press the letter M on your keyboard and you have a marker. One cool thing you can do is, as you can see, this white box over here allows you to name a marker. So let's say I name it. Let's say I name it trim 1. You press enter and you get a named marker. So no matter where you move this marker, the name will come along. Now there's also another feature called insert region. You go to the same place and you have insert region. Now you use this when you want to cut off a certain part of the video. You only want that part. So if you see this small triangle, yellow triangle over here, you can drag this. You can drag this to a region where you want to cut, and then you insert region by clicking this. So now you have this number 4 marked from here to here, which means that this region, not just one point of the video, but this whole region has been selected. Now you can name this just like how we name the marker. And one important thing you can do is create this thing called a sub-clip. So this whole video of yours is a clip, but you can create a sub-clip by right-clicking on this region marker and go to create sub-clip. Now that you have created a sub-clip, you can go and check in your project media. You'll see that this sub-clip has been added, sub-clip 1 over here. Now this part is not the whole video. This is just this part of the video. You can check that by dragging it on your timeline. So this one starts over here. So this one will also be exactly the same as that. You can hear the audio is pretty much the same. Right. Now the other thing you can do by using these yellow markers is that you can create a loop region. So when you're trimming a video and you want to play this part again and again to make sure you got it right, you just click on this loop playback. So the region you selected is now going to be on loop. You can also shorten this. So if you play this, every time it finishes over here, it's going to start again. You see this marker has gone back to the beginning. So that is how you create a loop region. And that's it for this tutorial. We'll see you in tutorial 2. We'll be explaining about the timeline next time. Thank you.